So Camilla Cabello just dropped her brand new album titled C XOXO. The album is 32 minutes and 14 tracks, and going into it, people had pretty strong opinions. This was a complete rebrand for her. She changed her whole look, her aesthetic, her sound. And coming off of the first single, I Love It, I can't say I was too impressed by it. I even made a video on it, but overall, I think there's a lot of problems with that track. But despite my opinion on that single, a lot of people have been talking about this album. There was a lot of anticipation, especially because Charli XCX just dropped her album Brat, and a lot of people believe that this new aesthetic is either inspired by or copying Charli. But I listened to the whole album, and I've got to say, I don't think it's that related. To me personally, it feels more like two people with the same inspirations, but taking complete different approaches. There's definitely huge differences in sound choice, production, and songwriting. But with the first song on the album being I Love It, I was a bit skeptical jumping into it because I've heard some of her other music, and I think that she has a lot of talent, but that song specifically I feel like is out of key. The production can kind of grate on you. But moving past the first song into Chanel number 5, track number 2, I was pretty impressed. It felt a lot more intentional and like it's hitting the right notes, and so moving forward, I was more optimistic. One of the interesting things she does on this album is there are a lot of interlude tracks. So out of the 14 songs, 3 of them are interludes and 1 of them is a Drake song. In terms of the Drake song, I definitely see what she's going for. I feel like it's kind of like a blonde solo reprise type of deal. And to me, I think it's a really experimental and fun idea to try out. But when I look at this track list and considering the album is only 32 minutes in total length, and then 3 of those minute-long tracks are separate interludes, plus 1 full Drake song, and I wouldn't say that right now is the best time to have 2 Drake features, but overall, I felt like there were too many interludes considering how short the album is already. To me, it really revealed that the album itself is quite short, but I did want to shout out one specific interlude called C XOXO. I love the vibe of it, and the person speaking feels very sentimental, so that one was a personal highlight for me. But since we're already on the topic, Hot Uptown is a really great track. This kind of vibe always suits Drake really well, and he has a lot of hits in this style, so there's nothing necessarily surprising about it, but overall, I thought that it was a banger. Another one of the interesting ones that started to grow on me was 20-somethings. When it started off, I felt like it was slow and kind of boring, and it didn't really capture me melodically, but something that's really cool about this album is a lot of the songs don't stay stagnant. I think a lot of radio mainstream pop music just kind of stays in the same pocket and doesn't evolve production-wise, but this is one of those tracks that continue to grow, and by the time we hit the end, I felt like I really liked it. But there are tracks on this project that I also wasn't the biggest fan of. Bolt was one of them for me for that exact reason. I just feel like it didn't really go anywhere. By the time I hit the end of the track, I just felt kind of bored. And if there is one weak point about the album, I feel like by the time you hit the end, you feel like you've hit the end of the bag of tricks. It's like all we had creatively were those 10 full-length tracks. When I feel like there's some interesting ideas, like in track 1, how it starts off completely differently and about 15 seconds in switches up. Or songs like June Gloom, which is the closer for the album. I feel like there's a lot of potential specifically on the production end, but almost like it was a little rushed, because it feels like if they spent a little more time and attention to detail, they could have had something that was even more special. But overall, I think the album was pretty good, and I feel like a lot of people were way too critical going into it. I was happy to look online, and it seems like most people are receiving it pretty positively, so I'm excited to hear where she goes from here. Maybe she wants to switch it up again. But let me know your thoughts. Most of the people that get recommended my videos aren't subscribed to the channel, so if you enjoyed this and want to hear more, hit that button. And yeah, peace out.